Hello, traders. I've got a stock that looks great right now, and I'll explain how I found it and why I like it. Subscribe to my channel now and turn on your notifications so that you don't miss any of these daily trades. You'll help me build my channel, and I'll help you build your account. Let's get started. The market's been closed for an hour and a half on this St. Patrick's Day. Hello, traders. It's time for the weekly swing trading video. We had an FOMC statement today. Market held up very well. So let's take a look at the S&P 500 first. Get our market bearings. You can see downward sloping trend line, breach to the upside. Market breaks out to a new high, tests that breakout. There's your tail under body, bounces, tests again today, bounces. I think the market's going to head higher. Why? We've had to grow into current valuations. We've got almost another quarter of profits under our belt. Earnings season is only a few weeks away right now. That's going to help normalize valuations. We've got interest rates rising, but today the Fed said, listen, we are not going to be raising rates until late in 2023. We know that inflation is going to be a little bit hot in 2021. We're looking for 2.4%. It's going to be caused by some supply disruptions, but in 2022, we are looking at a 2% inflation rate. That is completely within our target range. So the Fed is going to let inflation rise a little bit. So if we start getting a relatively hot CPI, PPI number, we don't have to worry that the Fed is going to panic. They're expecting it. That upward inflation over the course of the next year is putting pressure on interest rates, short-term interest rates to be specific. And that's why you're seeing the short end of the curve rise like that, in my opinion. Now, if we take a look at the TLT and how it reacted to the FOMC statement today, TLT is something that you always want to be watching right now, especially if you are looking for an entry point for tech stocks, because higher interest rates weigh heavily on the tech sector. Downward sloping channel, broken to the downside, looked like we were going to find support here. Not so fast. We had another leg lower. You can see how TLT did move a little bit higher today. That gave tech stocks some relief and they bounced. This is the TLT, and that's what happened after the FOMC statement. You can see how it's still got to try and go back and fill in this gap. If we see overnight strength in TLT, I believe the market is going to have nice sound footing. Don't forget, Friday is quadruple witching. That means that we're going to see some extra volatility. I like the market reaction today. I thought the market liked the news. It got the fist pounding from the Fed that it needed to state that we are not going to be tightening anytime soon. You can see the initial reaction right here. Market tests the high from the prior day, pulls back just a little bit, but we are within striking distance of the all-time high. We are within striking distance of SPY 400. I think that that's in the cards probably within the next few days, perhaps even by the end of Friday. What happens oftentimes is that you will get premium sellers, that being call sellers, when you get the market up here, they start looking at where the market might go and they want to sell out of the money calls above that price. Well, if they were thinking that the SPY is not going to get to 400 in the course of the next couple of months, guess what? Here we are, quadruple witching. We are a heartbeat away from that. I think we could see a little bit of a squeeze towards that 400 level. So once the momentum starts to build, that's when you can see these programs really kick in, and they're fueled by quadruple witching. So let's see if that happens. All in all, we have the coronavirus cases decreasing steadily. Analysts are really raising their expectations for economic growth in Q1 and Q2. I believe that the Fed's projection for 2021 is 6.5% GDP growth. Those are big numbers. If we get those types of numbers, going to be a lot of profit made in companies. So I like the market here. I think that it's tested the downside. You can see the multiple tests that we had of that upward sloping trend line. You can see the multiple tests that we've had of the 50-day moving average. All the while, tick, 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 time has elapsed, which is giving company which has given companies time to make money and for profits to start to grow into current valuation. So this looks like a pretty decent breakout to me. I think we're going to grind higher into earnings season. You know that because that's what our positions reflect. We currently have a number of positions on, so I'm going to take a look at our positions, and then tonight we're going to spend a little bit of time taking a look at some searches. Mara is a bullish put spread that we have, and it's going to expire worthless on Friday. That will release some margin for us. BA is another bullish put spread that we have. That is going to expire Friday. That will also release some margin. By the way, our model account is down about 19% as of the close today. Not where I want to be, but I believe that if we get the move that I'm looking for, that account is going to recover very, very quickly. We also have a position in TLRY that we put on this week. We sold an out of the money bullish put spread down below this technical support right here. I like that position. I think that's going to be a good one for us. UAL, airlines getting some bailout money. Sold that down on this breakout right here. Look at the strength today. We are going to be in very nice shape on that one. Letter Z, Zillow, sold an out of the money bullish put spread below this technical support right here. You can see the stock did dip a little bit, but nice bullish hammer here on the close. I still like Zillow. As interest rates tick higher, initially home buyers get very, very anxious. They want to purchase, they want to lock in those lower rates. So if that's the fear, gee, higher interest rates not good for the housing market. Actually, that's not true in the initial stages. Plus, Zillow is the type of company, it's a technology company, in my opinion. And the reason that it's been selling off has more to do with it being in the tech sector than it does with it being exposed to higher interest rates or being in the mortgage sector. I like Zillow. I think this is going to be a really nice trade for us. Moved a little bit against us though. MOS. We are long the June calls, $30 calls. You can see the stock is very close to that high. We did buy in those $34 calls. I was really glad that we did that last week. We had news Friday that the U.S. is going to be imposing tariffs to the tune of almost 50% in some cases on foreign importers to the United States of fertilizers because they have been dumping. And those are the biggest fertilizer producers in the world. Those are in Russia. So that's going to put Mosaic in a much more competitive position. We have crop prices are very high, relatively high anyway. We had poor crops in Brazil, South America. All of those factors are really helping Mosaic. When the CEO of Mosaic and other fertilizer companies, when they come out and their guidance is, have not seen better conditions in 10 years, that gets me pretty excited about a stock. So I like it. It's a grinder. It's not going to explode higher. It should just continue to grind higher. So right now I like that position. I think it's in good shape. I think it's going to continue to do well, especially now that we're into planting season. SFIX. Why the heck did you do that? Pete, you always tell us that we're supposed to let this thing bottom out and then we buy calls when it breaks through major technical resistance. I saw it. I liked it. I really liked the fact that it was able to find support on this gap right here. I saw these long candles. I looked at the price action and a volume on these two bars. I thought it was an easy shot for it to get through the 100-day moving average, and it backed off of that. We also had a little bit of market weakness the last 2 days. I still like the stock. I think it's going to break through. I was really watching for this gap to be filled. So we're going to stick with the position. We're going to set some targets out there. I may even just set a target out there to scratch and we'll move on and we'll look for another trade elsewhere. Really depends on the price action the next couple of days. That's kind of my inclination as I didn't get the move that I wanted right away. I was looking for one more long green candle right here to close through the 100-day moving average. Didn't get it. So I jumped the gun. We may end up just trying to scratch this one. I will send instructions before the open if I feel that we need to exit the trade. Until then, we're going to stick with it and see what happens. Apple. I do like Apple. I started to see some really nice strength these 2 days. That's why we took a position. We were early on this as well. It was able to close above the 100-day moving average yesterday, fell a little bit below it today, but I did see some decent strength on a 5-minute basis. And again, tech stocks have really been struggling because of TLT. But with the TLT edging higher today after the FOMC, look at that explosive move. I think that tech stocks are coiled. They are ready to release. They're ready to run. I look at all of our positions. I like them all. I think that they're going to fare well. We'll have a little bit more room to add once Boeing and Mara expire, but I'm not looking to add any new positions tonight. I thought what I would rather do is spend some time going over searches. And I've had a number of people ask me, Pete, how do I find searches that are good for swing trading? I know you got all these others. I'm looking for swing trades. Everything is in the manual. Everything is in the tutorials. I'm really counting on you folks to go through and look at all the resources that we have available. That's how you're going to learn how to take advantage of Option Stalker, how to get the most out of it. And until you do that, there are going to be a lot of features that are just waiting to be discovered by you. You go into Option Stalker, you click on the Option Stalker manual. When you open up the Option Stalker manual, you're going to see a section labeled Scanner, just as I have here. And in the scanner, you're going to see our favorite swing searches. So I'm going to scroll down to that. These are the favorite swing searches. Here's exactly what they look for. Here's why we like them. You don't need to look any farther than this. If you don't want to bother yourself with custom searches and running them, of course you could go to the manual and learn what each one of those variables are. You can watch my tutorial videos and you can watch me setting up custom searches that help us find these great stocks, or you can simply go to the scanner and click on these 4 searches. They're going to find you fantastic swing trading candidates, and it won't take you more than 5 or 10 minutes a night. So let's take a look at those searches. And my absolute favorite is Pop Bull. I love it. Every time I start up my computer, trading starts, I always take a look at what's hitting in Pop Bull. Even though I'm a day trader, I want to make sure that my day trades are also decent on a swing basis. So why not start there? If I take a look at the stocks that are in Pop Bull right now, let's just click through them and let's see if we can find some opportunities. Well, here you had a stock that smoked through the 200-day moving average and backed off the rest of the day. I don't know that this would be an ideal candidate. I wouldn't personally want to sell an out of the money bullish put spread on this. It's a little bit too volatile. You would have to go way down below the support here. And excuse me, it's a $2 stock, so I would not be trading it. As you go through, you'll be able to quickly eliminate stocks that don't really fit your criteria. The home builders, really nice breakout here, big volume. You can see earnings on Lennar after the close yesterday. A stock that does not typically make a big move like this is going to retrace. So I would not chase it. Let it come in, let it challenge this breakout right here, and then I would look to sell a bullish put spread below this horizontal support. 1, 2, 3, 4. That looks like a nice support level. We want to make sure that that breakout holds. We got good volume. If it does, that means that the stock should be able to hold that $85 price level. That's your bullish put spread. Key off of that $85 strike price, but don't chase it here. You can also look back and go, look at this chop. I would like to see something more orderly. That would be my personal preference, and I would agree with that. I would rather see something that's trending nicely like this. That's a really nice trend. Look at this beautiful stock. Look at that horizontal breakout right there above all the major moving averages. Just the most orderly, beautiful little upward sloping trend line right here. Well, that would be something that we want to lean on, that upward sloping trend line. That's our first line of support. Now, this is a relatively cheap stock, so perhaps you can go down to the $15 strike price. maybe the $14 strike price. That way it's got to break this upward sloping trend line and you still got some cushion below. But this stock tells me that it wants to grind higher. Dow, D-O-W. Again, very nice steady upward price movement, breaking out to a new relative high. Prior resistance right here, that 6150 level would be a natural level to sell an out of the money bullish put spread on. STX, beautiful. Look at this nice upward sloping trend line. Market all over the place, choppy, choppy. Not this stock. Nice orderly march higher. Same type of thing that we would do there. Now you don't want to be bottom fishing. That's okay. This is actually a gold stock. No need to sell out of the money bullish put spreads on a gold stock when gold has been all over the board. Now that gold bounced today, you might want to watch it for a few days and see if it fits your criteria. This is a nice downward sloping trend line, broken to the upside. Now the stock is trending higher. Look at how well this stock trends. This is the orderly type of price action you'd be looking for. So in addition to showing you the scans, I'm actually educating you on the type of patterns I'd be looking for. Nice tight trading channel, very orderly price movement. If you looked at this chart and you said, what's going to happen with this stock? You could say with a fair degree of confidence, I think it's going to go higher because it's so orderly. And there it goes. Uh-oh, stock's starting to roll over. Hey, what do you think the stock's going to do? It's probably going to go lower. Downward sloping trend line violated to the upside, bounces above the 100-day moving average. What do you think, Pete? I think it's going to go higher. You want to look for orderly price movement. Not random, herky-jerky, all over the board stuff. Nice, tight trading patterns. When they happen, this tells you that there's a good bid. Every time the stock tries to pull back, boink, it bounces, just like here. They're going to sell it. They're going to sell it. No, not so fast. Rallies. Oh, let's try that bid again. Sell it, sell it, sell it. No, rallied it up. That tells me there's very strong support around the 100-day moving average. This, again, is pop bull. Beautiful. Nice horizontal breakout right there. Checks that support. So you get the horizontal resistance. Now we break out to the upside. It becomes support. Nice breakout. Boom. Right back down. Where did it come to? Exactly that breakout. Test the horizontal breakout. Yes, buyer's still there. Now we march higher. These are the types of charts that you want to look for. This is the search that helps you find really good swing trades. If I had one and only one search that I could use, it would be Pop Bull. I like it that much. So what is Pop plus Bull? Again, described in the manual. This is my second shot. It was on Pop Bull yesterday. Today, the stock is higher, and I get to look at it one more time. It's in my face, and it's saying, do you remember me? I was looking really good yesterday, and you didn't do anything with me. Well, I'm going to give you one more chance to take a look at me. And by the way, I'm up today. I had a nice day yesterday, and I'm up again today. So this is your second and final shot to see it. And if you click through these stocks, you're going to see, again, really nice price movement. Buy into earnings. Well, looky there. We actually do have a few stocks that are coming up on this search, even though earnings season is 3 weeks away. What does buy into earnings mean? How could we possibly know if this stock is going to rally into earnings? We know that because over the course of the last 3 years, I've been tracking it. What does the stock do once it gets inside of a 2-week window from announcing earnings? Well, for these stocks, more than 75% of the time, let me repeat that, more than 75% of the time over the last 3 years, the stock has had a tendency to rally into the earnings announcement. Well, that sets up really well for selling weekly out of the money bullish put spreads. Well, these would be your candidates. Or if you're simply looking to buy some stock and take advantage of a statistical tendency, well, this would be your search. You want to go in and take a look at these stocks. Now, I don't like them when they've are off to the races. But let's say that you like BB and you're like, I don't know, it's had a big run before. This is all a short squeeze and part of the whole GME short squeeze. But you can see the stock does have an upward sloping trend line right here. It has not been off to the races, so there probably is still some more upside to it. But I would want to buy it when it closes above the 50-day moving average if I were swing trading it, and I would use a close below that 50-day moving average as my stop. And I would exit it before earnings. You can hover over the E. There's your next earnings date, 3/30. So you can see we're inside of 2 weeks from that earnings announcement. Chewy. Got another stock that's bouncing right here. We know that the stock has a tendency to rally into earnings. Hover over the E, 330. That means that we have one expiration between now and then that we can hit, which is the March 27th option expiration. I would look to sell a bullish put spread down here at the $72 strike price if I can get anything for it. I might not get much for it because the stock is at $81 right now. I might have to go down to the $76 strike price. It doesn't have enough strength for me to want to do that after selling off like that. So this is one instance where I would say I'd like to see a little bit more support here before I go selling it out of the money bullish put spread, even though the stock has a tendency to rally. And the candidates that I really like are ones that are just kind of quietly waiting and waiting, like this type of price movement right in here, and the earnings announcement is coming up. Those have a tendency to do that in the last week, just really kind of start climbing on some earnings excitement. FedEx, I believe, after the close today and after the close or before the open tomorrow. So GME, I wouldn't touch it. Strong after earnings. This is another really good bullish search. There's your earnings announcement. And oftentimes, here's why the search is so powerful. Oh gosh, what's so special about this search, Pete? I just watched the earnings reaction, then I know what's strong and what didn't react well. Oftentimes, the stock will pull back after the earnings announcement and it won't show its true colors for 2 or 3 days. Well, if you were looking at the initial reaction only, you're going to miss a lot of really good trades. This is a reminder. I've recently announced earnings. I had really good reaction and I'm continuing to follow through. Or perhaps when that earnings announcement comes out and the stock jumps, the market is very tenuous. The market's falling apart. Hey, I don't want to be doing anything right now. So you don't do the trade. And now, a few days later, the dust has settled. The market's looking a little bit better. Now would be a time to show me those stocks that really have done well after earnings. AEO. Excellent. Really nice. I would key off of that $27 level, which was the breakout. YCOM, earnings, horizontal breakout, new high. Just going to click through these charts. KR, choppy. Wouldn't touch this one. Look at that. All over the place. No good. GPS, nice. CLNE, earnings there. 50-day moving average, horizontal support, nice. Up here, if you're able to sell a bullish put spread below that price point, that would be a pretty good do. EXPR, you know it's a mover when you see spikes like that. Too choppy? Yeah, yowzer. Yeah, beautiful breakout. So UU, $8 stock, $6 stock, excuse me. Maybe not, but actually it looks like a pretty good stock. I might have to keep this one on my radar. In fact, we're going to click on the 15-minute chart. And Pete's going to have something to look at perhaps tomorrow because I'm going to drop a GTC horizontal alert line right there. And I'm going to drop a GTC horizontal alert line right there, which, by the way, today after the FOMC meeting, Dave was stating in the chat room that it was like a Christmas tree lighting up because of all his alert lines that he had dropped. It was the same for me. It's pretty fun. If you take the extra 2 seconds like I just did, you're going to have trades delivered to you on a silver platter. What do you mean, Pete? What I mean is that this stock looks really good to me. And when it breaks through that resistance level, I'm going to get an alert tomorrow, and I'm going to get an alert here. Oftentimes people ask me, I don't see that stock on any of the searches. How did you find that one? Because I dropped an alert line. I saw it a day or two ago or a week or two ago. I dropped the alert line, and now it was delivered to me on a silver platter. So the final search I'm going to show you is bullish flag. Again, swing trading. Very, very nice. All the criteria that I put into this search, looking for that big flagpole and then that brief pullback. And here you've got AA still in a very powerful move. There's your flagpole. There's your pullback right there. There's your breakout today. That's why it's on the list. Yes, AA looks excellent. And there is your horizontal support around that 2640 level. You can even go a little bit closer up here if you want to be more aggressive with the trade. Right now, with the market looking decent but not having a really strong tailwind, the farther you can go out of the money, the better. ABT, take a look at that one. That one's just kind of compressing right now. You can see how it's holding this horizontal, was resistance, now support, and it's above the 50-day moving average right there. ABT looks like it could continue to go higher. Now, down here around the 113.60 level, which is the 100-day moving average, there might be a nice bullish put spread that you can sell there. You've got support here, which was that breakout, and you've got the 100-day moving average to lean on. It's not a very volatile stock, so you have to go close to the money on this one. But the stock looks good. It breaks out and it pulls back and it checks that same horizontal, was resistance, now support. I think the stock's going to find support here. Gradually, it will start to inch its way higher. So your bullish flag was right there. There's your flagpole. There's your downward sloping trend line. There's your breach. So you want to make sure that stock's above the 50-day moving average also, because that'll give you another support level to lean on. Again, you can see the pattern pretty easily there. There's your pullback. There's your downward sloping trend line bouncing. Two major moving averages to lean on. This is nice, pretty strong price action in here. Only a $7 stock, but I'm more focused on the type of patterns that I look at that I am the price of the stock right now. I'm just trying to show you the technical analysis that you should be doing. This is common to every video that I show you. Now, the one thing about bullish flags, just a statement there, when I get a flagpole like this, I like to see my pullbacks nice and shallow, about to this point. I don't mind them retesting that breakout right there, but then I want to see them take off and go. I don't like these really deep troughs because it erases that whole flagpole. So if I had to put a percentage on it, if that's the flagpole, I like stocks that only retrace about 25% of it and then they go. So not crazy about ones that have a pattern like that. This could be a good one. Another high flyer from here to here. There's your breakout to the upside. I'm just going to continue to go through. I wouldn't touch this one. Don't like it for a swing trade. This is not bad, but choppy. That's a nice, strong trend right there. I believe this stock has pretty high option IVs. If you can get something around those 200-day moving averages, maybe. But look at these long bars. I mean, that is an incredibly long bar. So I would tend to avoid those. JMIA, there's a really big runner there. Nice, tight, downward sloping trend line. Find support at the 100-day moving average, bouncing very nicely. Yeah, I think this one could work very well down around that 100-day moving average. JMIA also tends to have very high option implied volatilities. Ideally, you get down here to about that $35 price point, selling at 35, 32.50. If they've got 32.50s and doing that for a 50-cent credit, yep, that works. 35, 33, whatever strike prices they have available. That is how I would play that. Whoops, sorry about that. TME, nothing here. It's still compressing. But if I see a compression like that, then I've got to take and drop. And I'm not going to go at the very top. Whoops. Not sure what that clicked on, but I'm going to click on one of these top bars right here. This is the one I wanted to click on. There we go. I like stocks when they break out of compressions. This one, that was the opening, and if it can get through that price, I do like it. So I'll get an alert if it happens. STX, I happen to pass over. Beautiful upward sloping trend line. It is a tech stock. It's been able to weather the tech sell-off. So yes, this one looks very good. Draw that trend line. I think somewhere around the $72 price point, you start getting a little bit of horizontal support there. You got 1, 2, 3 tests in that general area. So if you can get some decent premium for it, I think that 72.50 strike price looks fairly attractive, somewhere right in that range. I don't believe STX has a lot of option implied volatility, but it's strong. That's the edge that we have. And I've had a lot of people also ask me, well, what strike price should I choose? And maybe the probability is not so high because I'm not 2 standard deviations out of the money. Option pricing models, Black-Scholes model, it does not account for technical breakouts. It does not account for a strong or a weak market. It does not account for heavy volume. It does not account for relative strength. Those are all things that we can do within Option Stalker to find stocks that have a lot of upward momentum and that we know have a very strong bid. That way, when we sell below these technical support levels, we are increasing our chances of success because of this strength that we're able to identify, and we're able to capitalize on accelerated time premium decay. Every single day that that stock sits still, we love it because our options are decreasing in value. And this strategy also gives us room to distance ourselves from the action. If I'm buying calls, I've got to have that stock moving progressively higher. And the reason that we are long calls right now is because I am looking for that market tailwind. I believe that the market is going to break out to the upside. If and when it does break out to the upside, you'll want to be long some calls because those have the most upside potential. And in a beaten down sector like tech, I think Apple's got a very good chance to move higher. I feel that Mosaic will continue to grind higher over the course of the next 2-3 months. So that's why we're long calls there. We're long in the money calls for Mosaic. They'll have a nice progressive movement higher as the stock ticks higher. Apple, we went out of the money, and I chose to do so because I feel that Apple, once it regains itself, that downward sloping trend line has been breached to the downside. Once it's able to recover and regain its momentum, I believe that we could see a move like that. And we do have more than 2 months of life in these options. And if you're looking at a move from 114 to 135, yes, there's some serious money that can be made on a move like that. Option implied volatilities are also very cheap right now, so it is a premium buyer's market. This is the caveat. If we get the market tailwind. And right now, I think we are poised to move higher. We've spent enough time muddling around this year, biding our time, trying to let profits grow, trying to get those valuations down. All the things that I mentioned earlier lead me to believe that the market is ready to move higher. So let's see what happens tomorrow. I think we're going to see some positive price action. I think that if the momentum gets going intraday, you could see some programs kick in and there could be a little bit of a squeeze. That all will fuel the upward momentum, quadruple witching, also a factor. Thanks so much. Have a great night. Enjoy your St. Patrick's Day. Make sure to have a green beer for me. Thank you for watching this YouTube video. I'm Pete Stolzers, and I'm going to keep the trade ideas coming along with lots of education, so make sure to subscribe to the channel and please turn on your notifications so that you never miss another trade. If you like the content, please give it a thumbs up. I've loaded 2 other videos that I think you're really going to enjoy. Stay tuned. We'll see you soon.